Hey guys, Doug the Retirement Guy here. We have a review of the YieldMax GOOY Option Income Strategy ETF. And want to know, is this good for a retirement account? This is YieldMax's options of trading on the Google stock. They posted a yield of 38.56%, which got us interested and excited. So we thought, let's take a look at it and see if it's worthwhile looking into. And before we go any farther, guys, I want to thank each and every one of you for watching these videos. You guys have really helped the channel out lately. We've got subscribers growing very, very strongly. We thank you. All the new subscribers, welcome. One thing we did do, look down in the descriptions, you'll see our new Patreon. Anything to help support the channel would be appreciated. Anything that you guys can donate to it just helps us keep putting out great videos. And we'll leave it at that. So let's get into today's video. GOOY from YieldMax is, like we said, is Google's option play on income strategy, where they're selling covered calls for Google stock. Their distribution of 38.56 and their 38 numbers. Their holdings, as we see with every YieldMax program, we see that the numbers that they put up, and they're using the U.S. Treasury bonds, Treasury notes, and so on to collect additional interest. Plus, of course, you're going to see cash on hand and the Google stocks. So very common, nothing spectacular that we have not seen before. So why GOOY? Well, it's that 38.56% that return that really gets us excited and motivated. Plus a 4.12 30-day SEC yield tells us that there should be some cash out there to be had. Now that 38 is over a specific period of time and includes dividends, interest, capital gains, and so on. And like always, that 4.12 30-day SEC yield basically represents that there is some income cash coming in the next 30 days. They do offer a monthly dividend payouts. They are not guaranteed, never are. And the nice positive things about those monthlies, which you know here on the channel, if you've watched it all, we love monthly dividends. It's kind of our minimum basis that we want. It's because you can take and reinvest those potential monthly income each and every month, buying more stocks, reinvesting it, doing what we call the drip, is drip your reinvestments back into the stock to create even more income. But the one here on the channel we like the best is that regular cash flow that you each month you're going to get a check from them. You can take that, put it into your budgets, pay your bills, do what you need to do on a regular cash flow. The other thing, this fund was started back in July of 23. So they got about a year and a half in time into this. And it normally gives us enough information of a year and a half to make a very good judgment call. So let's take a look at the Google return. And we look at this and scary right off the bat. The first 1 month is down negative 13.49%. 3 months out, it's a little bit better, but still negative of 0.21. 6 months, negative 1.51. Year to date, they're down 7.84%. 1 calendar year, they're up 10.74, and since inception, 2.58. So I'm not impressed at all with any of these numbers. It looks like they are losing money. They're losing their NAV heavily, which is not a good situation in any case for any stock. Even if they gave us 200% dividends, these numbers just don't jive well for holding your value. So we take this again, we roll this into our $10,000 test bracket, which is we take $10,000, we invest it into the stock, the GOOY. Over the past 12 months, back February of 2020, we bought stocks at $16.84, which would have gave us 593 shares. We fast forward all the way down to the current time so February 20th, 2025. The value of the shares are down to $14.01, which means we basically have a stock value loss of 16.8%, or a little over $1,600 of lost value. We take and turn around and look at our dividend payment. Our dividend comes in at 29.47%, which is a very solid, very great return. The only problem we have in this is that they did miss a dividend in May. We looked back, we didn't see any other dividends lost other than May, so we thought maybe this was an accounting error, and we looked deeper and no, it turned into that they did take that 1 month off. Well, when you take a 16% hit in your stock value and a 29% gain in dividends, that only gives you a 12.66% return across the board. Now we take a look at the flat, the adjustment over time, and you look at the line. And this is something that it's hard to understand, but GOOY is flat. There's no peaks, there's no drops. You look at our numbers at the board, what we put on the board, and you can see it started off at 16, a little over $16. It climbed a little bit of a hill to get to 18, and then it took a slow ride all the way back down to where that is today. The problem with this is if you don't have any peaks to build towards, if your fund does not grow, when you start getting hit with the drop-offs, you have nothing to give back up. You have no extra value to pay back in the bad times. And that's the problem when you see a stock like this that it's flat, is that there's no growth, and really that any drops are dramatic. So when we look at this, the high price was $18.39, the average price of $16.16, and the current price of $14.01. That's 13% below average. Now, looking at this chart over the past 12 months, $14 is a great number that if you wanted to get involved into, would probably a good spot to purchase in at, since you're well 13% off the average price of the stock. And this is when the people say, hey, when to buy. It's when things are on sale, and this is a 13% off sale right now. So that's the only asterisk I can put into this and say that is right now the time to buy. I don't think so. I think it's going to go lower, but it's one of those things I would be putting on our watch list to say if this thing, if this thing drops anything, another couple points, 15, 16 points below average, I would definitely say maybe for us to take a serious look at it. So let's take the GOOY summary. The stock return over the past 12 months of losing 16.8%. Well, that's a downward trend, and that's a negative in my book. A dividend return of giving you 29.47%. We'll definitely got to give you a thumbs up on that one. But when you take a look at the total return that we are over the last 12 months, we are only up 12.66%, including dividends. That means if your dividends take any type of a hit, they take any type of a bounce, this number is going to get lower and lower and lower because you're living 100% off of dividends versus living off of some stock growth and dividend programs. So overall, 12% return gets a thumbs up, but I believe we should report. So is GOOY good for a retirement account? My answer is definitely no. There's no way at all that this fund should be in anyone's retirement account at this point in time. The dividend is great, 29.47%, but your loss of your NAV, your loss of your value of 16.8% is just outrageously too high. When you get to a total return, like I said before, is 12.66, but if you lose anything more in that dividend, it's gonna continue to wipe out any type of gains that you have across the board. And in a retirement account, you really don't want to worry about losing value. You want to be gaining dividend and gaining income. And that's why with this thing here, even if you took and did a 70-30 split on the thing, to where you're putting 30% of your dividends back in and only taking 70% off the board, I still don't think this is a good one to play it with. The only way that you could do well with GOOY is, like I said, buying it on a major sale. And if you're losing 16%, that you better be buying it below 16% right now. A 16% off of list price. So this thing's more like a $12 stock that you want to have it invested in before you do anything. So you have too much of your dividends is to cover the losses. So we put this thing on hold. We'll come back, review it probably in about 3 to 6 months just to see if it's holding, where it's holding at, what's it doing. But right now it's a hold and do not buy.